Hey ladies and gentlemen, how are we today? We are back again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Justyn's journey. Now, just to give you a cheeky little background check on who Justyn is someone, from my understanding of research, she's been on YouTube for about 4.5 years, and in that 4.5 years, she's done videos on her weigh-ins, she's done videos on her on what she eats in a day, clothing hauls, amongst some workout videos as well. Now, I haven't seen all of these videos. I just know this because I went down the history of her thumbnails, her titles, all that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? But one thing that I've noticed is that there was at some point when she actually lost a significant amount of weight, but for some reason she has now gained the weight back. And each time I see the word intuitive in any kind of title, it's always in a negative tone. Like, yo, why is intuitive eating still a thing? It clearly doesn't work. I mean, well, I don't want to say it doesn't work as if I'm generalizing, but it seems to me is each time I see it on YouTube anyway, there's always like something negative around it, man. Like, yo, I feel like we need to stop this intuitive eating. But I don't know the story behind her, so we're about to find out. But with that being said, though, let's start off by giving a big massive shout out to every single person that is a member of the channel and also a member of Patreon as well, please. Including every single person that is a subscriber as we continue to grow. And of course, if you want to become a member of the channel or Patreon, the links are down below in the description. And on top of that, if you want to become a subscriber, it is a big red button down below right here with the notification bell right next to it, and also the like button that you can clearly smash. But with that being said, though, let's not waste any more time and let's get into this, man. Let's see what's going on with Justyn.
I want to go ahead and talk about how I came to this decision to make all of this information public. So whenever I first started therapy, the intention was never to do this. I was not ever planning on taking you guys along with me and publicly documenting this new journey. I was in therapy solely and selfishly for me and for me only, and it wasn't.
I'm not trying to nitpick here. It's just that I find there's this thing that YouTubers do, you know, a lot of YouTubers do, okay, where they say that I wasn't meant to document this, which is fine. Maybe you wasn't, and I believe that you wasn't, but the moment you document it, it's irrelevant, you know. I just want to put it out there, nothing to do with her. It's just like, I don't know why YouTubers do that. It's just like, okay, that's nice to know, but you've done it now, so let's stay on topic. But let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it positive. Let's go.
It wasn't really until around like the 4th-month mark where my feelings did start to change. Around month 4, that's kind of where I had like a flip of the switch moment, and I could start to feel myself becoming more and more interested in this topic. I felt like, although yes, I did go in with an open mind, I kind of almost felt like a sponge where I was just like absorbing and soaking in all of this information, but I still didn't quite know what to do with it. And honestly speaking, I was still erring on the side of skepticism. Even though literally everything I was being told made complete sense, because I had just been so immersed in diet culture before for literally almost a decade, it was still very hard for me to look at nutrition, my body, and just like overall health in general in any other way. So around 4 months in, that's kind of where I felt the switch from me just more so being like a listener to me like actively wanting to participate and wanting to do more with the information I was being told. This also correlated to around the time where I feel like I was starting to notice some changes within myself. They were small changes, but they were positive changes with my relationship with food and my whole overall mindset thinking. Just from me taking her tangible advice, starting to implement that and then look at foods differently, because I started to see a change, I think for me, that's really what like sparked my curiosity and made me think that, okay, Justyn, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this and I'm going to give my all into it. And I just decided that I wanted to give myself my absolute best shot at possibly healing my relationship with food. And to be frank, stop half-assing it. YouTube is what I do, and it's not just a job for me. It is genuinely something that I'm passionate about. And I think for me, once I was finally on board with intuitive eating and like, okay, I'm really doing this, it was really a no-brainer that I also...
You know, I mean, when it comes to healing your relationship with food, you know, and I think this is a no-brainer, something that we have said so many times on this channel, and I'm sure people have said it in other channels and all that kind of stuff, right, is that when it comes to this conversation about healing with food, I feel like that is a very sensitive conversation for the simple reason that healing with food is something that I believe with history of YouTube now, it's not something that you can do when you are on a public platform, because, you know, this is the thing, you know, even if you have thick skin, healing yourself from anything is not something that you can do when you are public. Because the thing you have to remember is this, ladies and gentlemen, is that once you are on a public platform, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, or whatever it is, when you're trying to heal yourself from whatever it is, it could be food, it could be drugs, it could be anything, okay, you are always going to get people who are going to give you a certain level of feedback. Okay, now some of the feedback you're going to get, you're not going to like it, because some of it may legit be trolling, some of it may legit be hateful, but some of it may just be constructive criticism. Now, at the same time, as human beings, a lot of the things that we do here, or at least that are addressed to us, has influences of things that we probably thought about already anyway. But at the same time, sometimes you just don't want to hear those things again and again. But at the same time, though, can you stop viewers commenting what they want to comment? Absolutely not. Should you? No, you shouldn't, because at the end of the day, when you put yourself online, you are opening yourself up to be an open book, to be someone that can be judged for anything that they do. Whether that's something is a good thing or it's a bad thing or something that is completely incorrect, it's gonna happen anyway. And I feel like when you're someone who has had a struggle with food, it doesn't matter how strong you are as a human being, that area of your life is clearly a sensitive area, because if it wasn't, then you wouldn't have a relationship where you struggle with food, drugs, alcohol, or whatever it could be. So for me now, the fact that I saw that she had lost weight at a certain point in her life and now she's gained it back again, and from what I understand, she's also had to go and seek therapy and XYZ. Now, I'm not saying those things are from the internet. I'm not saying it's because of what people have been saying to her. But what I'm trying to say is that how do you minimize, triggers coming your way of derailing you from your journey, from what you're supposed to do? And her journey is healing with food. So the best thing that YouTubers should be doing, in my opinion, that are all about the weight loss journey or the drug or the rehab journey or any kind of format, fix your relationship before you hit the internet, and then share the stories about your journey. Share what you did to get through them. And of course, when you are sharing them, sometimes people are going to say things that are triggering that might, in that moment in time, force you to then relapse. There is that potential, okay? But at least if you do relapse, at least there's I like to think a better opportunity or a better chance where you won't completely shoot yourself in the foot. You're going to kind of bring yourself to reining back in sooner rather than later, because a lot of people that go on YouTube and start off already overweight or already in some sort of situation, once they start to document themselves in that life, even though they go on YouTube to document it because they want people to be a part of the journey so they can motivate others, which I think is fantastic, the fact is the moment you start to stumble, it just doesn't seem to look good for some YouTubers. And the thing is, there are some YouTubers who are generally people who are trying to do better, but they keep relapsing again and again and again and again. And the thing that they're not failing to understand is because you're putting yourself in a position where you're now creating something called toxic positivity towards yourself. Okay, but then there are some other YouTubers who are literally just flat out donuts who come on here purely to use their weight or whatever their addiction is as a purpose to monetize. There is that fine line. Now, I don't know nothing much about this young lady, and therefore I can't say what she is, but I would like to believe that she's someone who generally wants to look after herself. But having a healthy relationship with food, in my opinion, it's not an easy thing to do. It's a very sensitive thing, no matter how thick your skin is, okay? And that's where I bring in the word toxic positivity. But let's continue.
Wanted to document it at the same time. Also, not only that, after I looked and saw such a lack of diversity on this topic in this space, kind of going back to what I said in my last video, not only as me as somebody in a larger body, but also me as a person of color, once I saw that there was just a major gap, that really only made me want to do this even more. Okay, now, so quite the contrast of what all I've been saying so far. I just want to let you guys know that what I'm about to do is probably the least intuitive eating friendly thing that I could possibly do, and that is to share my weight. Now, I don't think that there's any rule that says you're not allowed to share your weight with thousands of strangers online, but one of the core principles of intuitive eating is rejecting the diet mentality, and going along with that is also getting rid of dieters' tools, one of which the scale being a huge one. So I've actually been advised from my therapist to go ahead, toss the scale, and stop weighing myself. But this is a journey, and me just being real with y'all, I'm not quite there yet. I don't really feel per se that I have a problem with the scale, especially given like where I once was with it. There was a point in time where I was weighing myself daily, even sometimes multiple times a day. And yes, back then I could definitely acknowledge that I had an issue. But now I'm weighing myself weekly, and honestly, this is gonna sound kind of silly, but I think part of the reason I'm having an issue with parting with the scale is because I have like such a long streak of weighing myself every single Saturday morning for like the last 2.5, 3 years. So I do find it a little challenging not doing that anymore and kind of being in the dark of what my status is. I do think and I do hope that—
Yo, man, I mean, for me, myself in particular, weighing yourself that much isn't healthy. Not mentally, at least, anyway.
One day I can part ways with a scale and not even care like what it has to say. But also another reason why I feel like this probably isn't the most intuitive eating friendly thing to do is because I already know that me sharing my weight online is going to bring judgment, criticism, and hate, all of which I don't think are very beneficial to me, especially given that I'm still pretty new to this. And I'm pretty sure it's not recommended for me to put myself in a position to possibly—
I mean, one thing that she's not new to, though, is being on the internet. And one thing that she's not new to is what she just said about the criticism and XYZ. So to be honest with you, just because you're changing your journey, it doesn't mean that you're new to what's going to happen here. Now, obviously, I know that she's not saying— I know she's not referencing to that, but what I'm trying to say is this. The fact that she's new to this journey means it's going to create even more of a purpose, even more of a reason for people to just want to be like, hey, you're doing it wrong. You're doing this. You're doing that. This is what I'm saying. So the fact that she's doing something completely new and making it public, it's going to come with opinions. Some that you're going to be ready for, some you're just not going to want to hear.
have external factors like mean comments and people giving their opinion on me and my weight to possibly sway myself in what I'm doing and what I'm thinking and all of that. This wasn't an easy decision to make, and I have been debating over it for a very long time, but ultimately I am deciding to share that piece of information because I want to be open and transparent with you guys. I mean, that's how I roll here on this channel. That's how I've been doing things, and I kind of felt like it would be awkward if I felt like I had to keep it such a big secret and I would tell you guys about everything else, but I would leave out that piece. Also, because I already know what I'm getting myself into, fortunately I'm not like walking into this blindly. I have already kind of mentally prepared myself for the possible reactions. So to sum it all up, I am sharing this information for documentation purposes only, and without further ado, I know y'all are probably like, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna give you guys a timeline of my weight covering the last 2.5 years so y'all can better understand how I got here. Starting with my most previous heaviest recorded weight, which was in October of 2018, I weighed 292 pounds. This was also once I started WW, which was my last attempted diet. Then 10 months later, as of August 2019, I had lost 73 pounds following that diet and was at my lowest ever recorded adult weight, which was 219 pounds. Then I really don't think I even need to talk about what happened. I've explained it so many times in multiple videos, but basically I started going back in the opposite direction on the scale. And by January of 2020, I weighed in at around 259 pounds, meaning that I had gained 40 pounds in 4 months. And then for the remainder of the year, in December of 2020, I was averaging about 285 pounds, which was an additional 25 pounds added on. And the reason I'm bringing up December is because that is actually the month that I officially started therapy. So I guess you could technically consider that my starting weight and my starting time, but I kind of feel like the lines are a little bit blurred for me because yes, although I did start in December, like I told y'all earlier, it wasn't until like month 4 where I was really getting into it and actually wanting to for real do it. So I'm not really sure how to take that, but just for today's purposes, we're gonna call that my starting time. And now for my current weight. Anxiety. I currently weigh, as of May 2021, 302 pounds. Cue mob. So 17 pounds up from December when I started, altogether 83 pounds since my lowest weight, and about 10 pounds up from my previous heaviest weight. So you know how whenever people like go on a diet and they lose a bunch of weight and then they end up gaining it back, but they usually gain it back and then some? Those 10 extra pounds are my and then some. So yes, you guys, I am officially
Justyn, listen, there's no judgment here whatsoever, but listen. If Justyn was ever come across this video, my advice would be very simple. Please, 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 please. Remove yourself from the internet for a hot minute, okay? Fix your relationship with food. Get yourself back in the health that you need to be into a healthy body state that is, you know, not obese. So you can do better for yourself, because the more weight she gains, the more prone she's going to be to complications. And complications, once they come in, the journey doesn't get any easier. You see what I'm saying? And the whole idea about health, you know, not even weight, health is simmering down those complications, because that is a weight gain and a half, man, and it's not nice. It's sad. I'm sad to see that this has happened to her. But yeah, like she needs to figure something out. My advice is come off the internet, do your therapy, get yourself sorted out, and then come back and then tell everyone how it all was. That's what my advice. Listen, she can even document it on the way, but just not upload it. And then once she's finished journey, then upload per each of that document, upload per video per each week. You know what I'm saying? A little time capsule. So this is what's been happening. Or you can do a whole big upload. It's up to you. You know what I'm saying? So you can still document it, you just don't upload it, because the moment you upload it, that's where the real pressure comes in. You see what I'm saying? And at least if you don't upload it and you're holding on to the information, at least it gives you time to pick which one you want to upload, which one you don't. You know what I mean? Is this one going to trigger you? You know what I mean? Give yourself time. Time is something that we don't abuse enough.
At my heaviest recorded weight ever. I do have mixed feelings about it. Just me being candid, obviously I'm not thrilled to be here. I never really thought that I would actually cross that 300-pound barrier, and when I finally did, that was challenging for me. All right guys, it's future Justyn here. I wanted to interrupt this video because I looked back at it and I felt like I just told you guys my weight and just kind of left it at that with like no further explanation. And I just kind of wanted to, I guess, for one, go ahead and answer the question as to if I think that intuitive eating is making me fatter. And I mean, technically, yes, but also at the same time, not really. If you look at it from a graph standpoint, just from like the dates and the weights that I already gave you guys, prior to December, I was already on the weight gain train anyway. And I'm just pretty positive that regardless if I started intuitive eating or not, I was just going to continue to gain weight anyway, and more than likely just end up either at or around the same place that I am now. I mean, it's clear when you look at it that I haven't been in any sort of weight maintenance at all. I've always either been gaining or losing, and I haven't like sustained the same amount of weight for probably any longer than a month at a time. So I know that the only way I would have started maintaining my weight or even possibly losing weight is if I started restricting myself again, aka starting another diet, which I'm just not about to do that. So with all of that being said, I don't really feel like I can necessarily place the blame on intuitively eating when I was already going down this path to begin with. Secondly though, to repeat myself from my last video, it is a big part of like my hope for this journey that I will get to a point where that weight kind of caps off. And once my body is at a place where it trusts me, like me, myself again, to not deprive it, to not put it through another diet again, it will eventually, I guess, kind of let some of that weight go. However, this whole thing is a huge leap of faith for me. Like I've said, there's literally no guarantee. And I don't know if it's going to work. But all I do know is that everything else that I've tried and failed, it has all led me to where I am today. So the way I look at it, why not give it a shot? I did want to say though that I've found it quite interesting that for the last several months, I've actually gotten a pretty good amount of compliments and just people inquiring, actually asking me how much weight I've lost, which up until this point, nobody knows my current weight. Like nobody even knows that I've gained weight but myself. So the fact that so many people have assumed the complete opposite, that's just very interesting. And I'm not sure if I should take it as people just being nice, trying to hype the girl up, or if people can genuinely tell a difference. I will say though that even yes, at my current weight, I am the most active I've been in a very, very long time. I'm currently strength training 3 times a week with my trainer, and then I will go off and do like some other forms of cardio on my own. So I don't know if possibly like maybe the strength training is kind of canceling out with the weight I've gained. Like, I don't know, maybe some of the weight is like muscle mass. I don't know how that works, but I do want the takeaway of this to be that even though yes, this video was about weight, at the same time, my journey is not. I honestly don't think I'll be posting many other videos like this just because I'm more so focusing on my mentality and behavioral changes.
This video is not about weight, but my journey is not. Interesting. So what's her journey then? Health? Interesting. Okay. I guess when she says my journey is not about weight, I guess what well, I'm gonna assume that she means going forward. Going forward, should be posting less about her weight, which is fine if that's what she wants to do. That makes that could help. Posting videos around other things that's not around her weight loss journey, and it's around everything else that might help her. Because at least then she'll be under less pressure when it comes to the weight side of things. But interesting.
And as far as my results, I'm really not measuring my results in pounds. Honestly speaking, I am hopeful for unintentional weight loss as being a side effect of me healing my relationship with food, but I am aware that in order for that to happen, I can't put my primary focus on what the scale says. So just know that if you ever hear me talking about weight again, it is primarily for documentation purposes only. And honestly, if I wasn't doing YouTube, then I would just be keeping that information to myself. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We are going to start resuming these super special secret emoji shout outs. So very special shout out to Chloe George Vlog.
Yeah, shout out to you, Chloe. All right, cool. All right then. I mean, listen, end of the day, I don't know if anyone already knew who she was prior to this. But listen, all I can say is this: I wish her the best within her therapy, within obviously her weight loss journey privately, I'm gonna say. And yeah. But nonetheless, though, if there's anything that you feel like I missed out here, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comment section, and we'll talk about it. But of course, if you're new, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and also before you leave, hit the like button. Okay, everyone? Thank you. We are done, and we are out. Peace.